Hey everyone, let's start healing. I'm Adrienne Murchison, and welcome to episode 102 of the Let's Start Healing podcast. We have more in common than we think, and what we have in common can change the world. I really enjoyed this episode. My guest is a star of a reality TV show. Her name is Aisha Del Rosario. You would know her from TVOne's Asking for a Friend. It's a dating show, and she was on the first season, and the focus of the first episode, Aisha and Essence, and she will tell you all about it. They were working friends, corporate besties, and they selected a mate for each other. And so she'll go all into that. But it was really something how I connected with Aisha. There's a topic that I am going to start addressing through a series of episodes, and she and I touch on it in this episode. And it is about the workplace. And as we get older, as you get older, do you feel comfortable celebrating your age in the workplace? And maybe you're a younger person, maybe you're an older person, maybe you're somewhere in between. But it is a topic that is interesting to me. And I will go into it more in future episodes. And I go into it in this episode a little bit. And part of it is, particularly when it comes to women, women today are so multifaceted. Many women, I haven't looked at the numbers and I should do this. I wonder if there is any data around this, but I would bet you 70% of working women have a side hustle, another gig. They're an entrepreneur. They're doing something that is passion for them, that is separate from their regular job. And I think it speaks to how women and men, this is not just exclusive to women, women and men have more than one thing going on, and are we viewed as one-dimensional in the workplace? And are we viewed that way as we get older? And so it's something that I wanted to ask women about. And I found some interesting news stories and columns and blogs about this topic, which I'll share with on another date. But I connected with a few women recently, and I'm going to bring them to you. But as I talk about this subject, of course, we're talking about spirituality. This is a spiritual podcast. So Aisha has been in the corporate world for many, many years. And she also has these other projects that she's involved with, as in this show with TVOne, and she'll share much more about it. But she is so much fun. We had a really fun conversation. Something came up for me when we were talking about women in the workplace, the dynamic between women of color and white women. And there's a rub that we really don't talk about, particularly Black women and white women. There's a rub that we really don't talk about. And I would love to talk about this, what I call rub. And I think that there can be misunderstandings that we can have with each other. If a person is white, or if we're Black or Latina or any woman of color, I think there can be perceptions that we have about each other that we don't talk about. And so I want to talk about that in the future. Something beautiful that came up in the conversation with Aisha when we were focused on God and spirituality was the idea of new gospels. And I'm excited about you hearing what she shared. And a comment that I made, I mentioned, and there's other gospels. And what I was referring to that I just wanted to impart are the Gnostic Gospels. And so if you are aware of them, they are these other Gospels that are said to be secret Gospels of Thomas and James and John. And so that's what I was referring to. And again, that's something I would love to go into a little bit on another episode, but I wanted to mention what I was making reference to. I want to invite you to subscribe to the podcast. Please share the podcast with one person that you know that you think it would resonate with. If you're new to Let's Start Healing, well, please check out episode 100. That was a milestone episode, obviously. And I was joined by fellow podcaster John Russell Murchison, who happens to be my nephew. And we reflected on some of the previous episodes as we weaved in conversation around so many different topics. And that is really an ideal episode to check out because you can get a sense of the different types of people that I have on the podcast, including men. Men are highlighted very much in that episode. So that is episode 100. And you can listen to Let's Start Healing on traditional platforms. So that's about it. I think we're almost ready to get to Aisha. I want to let you know that my baby, my dog, Shiloh, he makes himself known a couple of times in the episode. And, he's a man now. And, sometimes that's what, men do. And because he turned 3 on April 2nd. So it makes him about 21 in human years, right? So let's get to it. Let's meet Aisha and let's start healing. Welcome, Aisha.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited, Adrienne.
I'm excited that you're here. Well, how are you feeling today? It's been a day. It's been an afternoon of mishaps, I know, on my end. So what's it been like for you?
So actually, it started off great. I had a little, faux pas here and there, like just forgetting stuff. But for the most part, it started off really good. I was productive, which I like. I like when I can check things off the box. It started getting a little blurry at the end, but at the end of the day, but I'm good. Thanks for asking.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you feel good in your skin today? How would you rate yourself today on a scale of 1 to 10?
Skin. Okay, so I wasn't feeling good in my skin earlier, but then I had a dermatologist appointment.
Oh, well, you do look beautiful.
Thank you.
Really?
Thank you. I have a nice little regimen that I use, and I woke up and I was feeling a little dry and feeling a little like, I need a little pick-me-up, so I went and saw my dermo.
Wow.
Yeah. So what you're seeing is the after visit.
Oh, wow. Well, it looks great. Doesn't look like you have on anything but lipstick.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
So I thank you for being here to talk about this topic I want to talk about with women in the workplace, as well as spirituality. First of all, share a bit about your background, because I have 2 perceptions of you. One as reality TV and one as a corporate woman in the workforce. And I know you're a mom, so you're a businesswoman. You're a professional in many ways.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of complexity there. So I guess I will say that I'm a womanpreneur, if that makes any sense at all. I just kind of like made that up. So yes, I am a mom of 3 and soon to be a grandma of a set of twins.
Oh my.
And I'm also a basketball mom. My son plays AAU. I'm also a corporate recruiter. I've been recruiting for 20 years now. I'm actually on a little bit of a sabbatical because I took a pivot to do reality TV. So as I'm doing that, there's a couple of things that I'm working on, including relaunching my podcast and pitching some different shows and launching a TV station. So there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a bunch of stuff.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, first of all, what's the age range of your kids? And do you mind sharing how old you are? If you don't want to, you do not have to. Okay.
I go by this rule. It's either you get old or you die young. There's no in between.
That's the truth.
So I am 49 I will be 50 next year. I'm super excited about it. Like I'm thinking like some really big things are going to happen because I was told that the average millionaire happens in their 50s. So I'm like, okay, I'll take 50. I'll take 50 for that. And my children my oldest is 32. My second is 23 and my baby is 13. So I have them pretty spaced out.
Yes, you do. Yeah. And tell me about your podcast.
So according to Aisha, I was actually...
Ooh, that's the name?
Yeah. According to Aisha, right. So I had the podcast. I started it in 2018 and I was on Anchor and Spotify.
Yes.
It was really great. Like I actually started it as a way to heal myself.
Really?
And it just took off. And then last year I put a pause to it to focus and kind of like just... I guess rebrand.
What were you talking about? Was it you? Did you have guests?
Well, it started off as a monologue because it was just a healing where I was just kind of spilling tea on myself and talking about healing, mental health, emotional health.
Beautiful.
Different experiences and what I learned from them. And then I started to have guests. So I talked about everything from relationships to family ships to work and career and even some funny stuff. It was kind of like more like a variety show, if you will. But all of the base for everything was about how to be well, how to come out of every situation, shining. So last year, it just dawned on me that everyone was going visual. And people kept saying, well, people want to see you. They want to see you, Aisha. And I'm like, okay, well, let me just take a step back and figure out how I want to come back. So, yeah, I'm coming back. It's going to be different.
So was there anything fundamental that resonated for you about how to be well?
Yes. So the fundamentals in how to be well is I am a very big advocate of therapy. I don't feel like you have to necessarily have any type of mental disability or any like real trauma. I just feel like therapy generally should be everybody's thing. It should be like just exercising, right? So I think that's one of the main things that's my go-to.
Right.
I've been in and out of therapy for years and I just don't see how I would do without it.
Yeah.
The other piece to that is really finding your spirituality, finding that place where you can connect with God in whatever that is. Source. I'm not really interested in like what you call it, but I feel like just having a spiritual connection is really important in addition to having your therapy, right?
Yes.
So there's the clinical way of looking at things and then there's the spiritual way of experiencing things.
Yes.
So I hope that answered your question.
It did. So you mentioned your podcast was about healing. You wanted to heal. Were you trying to heal from a relationship or the past or loss? What were you trying to heal from?
Loaded question. So, as a woman of a certain age, 49, I think I was healing from everything. I think I had come to a place where everything bubbled up. So I started to dig into my past to see where it got started. Yeah. Because the initial was a relationship that was troubling me. But in order for me to understand the relationship that was troubling me, I had to go back in time. Yeah. So it was kind of a journey. And I was able to like peel the onion back.
Right.
On everything.
Yeah. Something I wanted to bring up was last week, I can't remember who the guest was, but I was watching Ebro in the morning and he was talking to somebody about therapy and he had made a comment about how beneficial it can be and you don't necessarily just have to go when something is wrong.
Right.
And I have, like you were saying, you've been to therapy off and on for years. And although I haven't been in a long time, I've started when I was 18 and went off and on throughout my life. And it really, not only did it help me with the big things, but it helped me to have the tools that I have now.
Right.
To deal with things.
Which brings home the point, like, it's not important that you do it consecutively. I think it's great if you can do it ongoing, but it doesn't take away from the fact that when you start and you stop, because every session that you have, whether it's a short session, a 1 session, a 5 session, you do walk away with tools. So if you don't go to therapy for I don't know, a significant amount of time, you're still using tools from your last session.
Right.
And then when you restart again, you're actually not starting from scratch.
Right.
Except for that conversation that you have to have with your new counselor, because you got to tell them the story all over again. But in terms, like, once you get past
I don't
that
like
part,
that. Yeah,
me either. But
Yeah.
once you get past that part, it's almost like you jump right back into the healing place.
Mm-hmm.
So outside of telling the story over and over again to a different person,
Right.
the process itself continues from the last one, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up, because that, I think, is what turned me off the last time I went to therapy, because I felt like I had to do a lot of explaining, and then just to let them know I am where I am. Like, I'm very clear, okay, this is what I need. This is why I'm here. Mm-hmm. But like you said, like, they have to understand that. And I would leave feeling winded.
Yeah, it is. It's emotionally exhausting.
Yeah,
because you're telling a story, and depending on how many times you start the process, you're telling the story over and over, and you're having to relive that as you tell them, because you want to be as transparent as you can. You want to give them as much detail as they need so they can get you where you need to go. So by the time you get through that first session, you are winded. You are breathless almost. Like, it's very exhausting.
Yeah.
You might have to meditate or take a shower or go for a walk. It literally just takes so much out of you to tell someone from the beginning.
Right. The topic that I got in touch with you about was aging in the workplace.
Oh, yeah.
And do women feel comfortable celebrating their age in the workplace? And let me say one of the reasons this comes up for me, and it's because you just described all the different things that you're doing, and it sounds like you're living a very authentic life. And I think that there's a lot of women out here who are doing many different things, men too. And then if one of those things is in the corporate world, and you feel, not you personally, but if a woman feels like, wow, I can't really celebrate my age here, then she's not able to really be her full authentic self in a certain way. And that's something that's been occurring to me. So why did that topic resonate when I brought this up to you when I got in touch?
Well, one, because I do feel like, not necessarily because I don't feel I can't celebrate my age, but there is an ageism that exists in corporate America. I don't know that it's intentional. I think it's more of the new age that we're in with technology and the culture. But it resonated more with me because of how women of a certain age, how we evolve naturally.
Yes.
It has more to do with our natural maturation than it does the workplace's inability to embrace
That's
it.
such a great point.
Right? Especially for the woman of color. We are ever evolving. We're changing. Our life experience is very different from that of another culture. So I feel like what we go through, our cycles, takes us in different spaces.
Yeah. Share some of what you mean about that.
For example, I mean, I've been in corporate America since I was 19, and I fought it for a very long time. I did it because I was a teenage mom and I had to work, and I was programmed to believe that I have to have a check. Like, I need to depend on the check. So I conformed to this construct that I had to be a working woman in order to be successful. As I went through life and I tapped into who I was naturally outside of my work, I evolved over time to say, Aisha, you're a real personality. Like, you are experiencing dating issues. You are a divorced woman. You are a basketball mom. Like, you have all these different lives that you live. And it's because I'm getting older that I'm now saying, I want this. I want to experience this. I want to travel. I want to do this. And I want this to be my narrative. I want this to be my story. But unfortunately, it came with age because I wasn't bold enough to do this at 20.
Right.
Or 30 for that matter. It took time for me to say, oh, yeah, no, I don't want to do it like that anymore.
Yeah.
I want to do it like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's the part that when you're sitting in your cubicle amongst people that haven't gotten there yet, you do feel different.
Now, a white woman, for example, could experience what you just described as well. There's things that you think are specific to Black women. Maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't have data to support this. Only my interactions, because I love my work family. Most of my white counterparts, I know them at work. I don't know them intimately outside of work. So at work, what I've seen is they have more of the comfortability to live in the space of, I'm going to work, or I'm going to be an at-home mom, or I'm going to paint on the side and just have this job just to do because my husband makes this amount of
more
money.
freedom.
So I'm here. Yeah, I'm here because I just don't want to be home. Like, they have different reasons for doing it. And then there's the others that they did conform to it and they're okay because, again, going back to age, they probably got that opportunity at 30.
Yeah.
Right? Where we had to work hard to get to a manager level.
Exactly.
They're 30 at managers. We're trying to get to a manager at 40.
Right.
So do I think that they can have the same experiences? I do. But I think that it's just different. Their evolution is going to look different than ours in terms of age, if that's what we're talking about, because they'll get comfortable. They'll be fine. They'll have their husband, their house, their kids, and that's it.
They have a different life experience.
Right. For us, we're a little bit more, give me more. Like, I want to feel this. I want to touch this, because we never had it given to us. So at a certain age, it's like, okay, I want this.
Yeah.
They didn't really have to want for anything.
Yeah. Do you feel some of that in your professional life, in the corporate part of your professional life? Because you said you were starting your own thing because you were starting to feel some of that.
Yeah, I was feeling like I was outgrowing the environment. Not so much the people, because the people were amazing. I think I was outgrowing the program that comes with being in the office.
What do you mean by that?
The politics of it, having to say the right thing in the email,
the system,
the whole thing was like, this is such bullshit. Not that I don't know how.
I get
obviously,
that.
if I did it for a long time, there was a part of me that really enjoyed doing this because it's a joke. Like sidebar, it's a joke. My ex-husband just made with me today is that we had a problem in school and he said, well, I'm going to let you handle it because you know how to say certain things. You're HR. You can say things without saying a curse and chop someone down with your vast vocabulary. So it's skills that I have here, right? And it was developed and I like doing it. Like, I get excited when I have to turn that corporate side on.
Yeah.
But at this age, I think I got to the point where it's like, I don't feel like turning it on anymore.
Right.
How about we just turn it off?
No, I get it. I equate it. I don't know. I don't want to put words in your mouth because I think you were saying something a little different, but it feels to me, and I work remotely, but in the past when I was working for different companies and working in an office, it would just feel like I can't be me and no one is being themselves. It's like we become a different person. And I remember I had this boss. This was about 10, 12 years ago. Well, it was 2010, so 13 years ago. I had this boss and she was a trip. I mean, everyone thought she was such a trip. And one day the whole team went bowling and she was a different person completely.
In a good way or a bad way?
In a good way. In a good way.
Okay. So outside of the office,
yes,
she was able to.
Yeah, she was a completely different person. Everybody was like, what is going
is that?
on? Yeah. And so that's what I feel like, when we get in the office, we're not able to really
be authentic.
Yeah. We're in our ego rather than our authentic side, our pure side. Did you feel valued?
Not until the end. It's weird that I just said that because I didn't know it was the end yet. I guess it is. My last position, I will say hands down, was probably the best company I ever worked for because they wanted me to come in as Aisha. Like, that was the whole value of the company was show up as you.
Talent acquisition.
Mm-hmm. In that role, though, they allowed us to bring our personality. Like, to your point, I've always worked hybrid in my roles. So I've always worked from home and then I had the ability to go into the office. But this was the first time that a company said, no, tell us what you're doing outside of work. Tell us who you are. Where's your kid? Bring the dog on the Zoom. We want you. What you do for this job is not who you are. We want to know who you are, but we want you to do your job.
Right.
And I've never experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, wow. It took me forever to get to a company that actually wanted to know Aisha, not what I do. They hired me for what I did, but they wanted me to show up as who I was.
I would think that would be to better support you too and your needs. Yeah.
So to answer your question, I think it took a while for me to find that space.
Yes. But at the end of that journey with that position, is that your most recent position?
Yes.
And so what happened that you started not feeling valued?
Well, there's these massive layoffs.
Oh,
yes.
Well, that happens.
Yes. So again, going back to what I was saying earlier, corporate is a construct. It's a system, and layoffs is part of them. And I've looked at it as that was a great run for me to part ways in a great way. Was it sad? Because I was like, darn, that was it. That was the company.
How long were you there in that position?
2 years as a employee and then like a year and a half as a full-time. I started as a contractor. I honestly felt like God, the universe, the source was working in my favor.
Yeah.
Because I said that I was tired. I said, I want to do something that you put me here to do. And he opened the door. He said, okay, here you go. And I was like, wait, not yet. I was like, no, I like it here.
I've been through that too.
And then he was like, well, what you said was.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, but I like it here too. So.
But did you feel like the layoff had to do with value? I mean, I guess it comes down to that. You're giving me a look, so share.
These are some great questions. Oh my gosh. All right, so I'm going to be honest with you. If I put on my business lens, I don't think it has anything to do with my value. I think businesses have to do what they need to do for the business, okay? And the role that I play in corporate America is not the bread and butter. We're on the corporate side.
Right.
If I was sales, they would probably try to keep me because the sales runs the company.
Right.
It's the heartbeat of the company. So from a business lens, we got to do what we got to do. Okay. He's the CEO, and that's why, he's the CEO, and he has to make these hard ass decisions. Right. From a value standpoint, what it taught me was, do they really value you? Can they really value you if you're that disposable?
Right.
So but again, it's the system.
Yeah.
I've learned to realize that nothing in there is a personal thing when you're a business person, because now I'm a business person and I'm almost positive I'm going to have to lay somebody off at some point.
Wow.
Are
you doing this as your own business now? Are you going to have to lay someone off in that capacity, or you have a staff right now?
I don't have a staff right now.
Okay.
But there is a list of things that I'm going to be doing over the next 10, 20 years.
Yes.
And I know I'm going to lay someone off.
Right.
I know that my business may not be at its peak. What I'm saying to you is I don't believe it's because I don't value someone. I think it's going to be a business decision.
Right.
But I don't want to be the one getting laid off anymore.
Right. Now, did you think age factored into that?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
That's fair.
I'm going to honestly say I didn't think that at all.
That's fair.
Now, do you think I think it was color? You're talking about color?
Okay. Yeah. No. I want to know that.
I question that. That's a big question. Like that question mark on the Joker costume. That is sitting at the top of my head.
Yeah.
Only because I'm a triple minority. I am over 40, over 45.
Yeah.
I am a female, and I'm a Latina X. I don't understand how you do a massive layoff like that and not look at Matrix. So I think that was a miss.
Well, a woman, I was about to say that. A woman of color, I would think, would be highly valued.
With an MBA and 20 years of experience.
Amazing.
That left a question. Like, I was just like, what? Me as a leader, I would look at the age. I would look at the ethnicity. I would look at the education. I would look at the years of experience before I do a massive pull like that. Because what I don't want is someone having this conversation going,
right.
Because it's not going to make sense. So I think age when you asked me if I thought age has something to do with it, not as a cherry pick, but more as they did not look at it. Instead of, they didn't look at it, they did not look at it. Does that make sense?
They didn't look at it at period.
Period. Like they didn't take into consideration, if you're looking at diversity and inclusion, you do a massive layoff, but you look at your metrics. You look at how many of these fall within the underrepresented. How many of these are of this age? How many of these are Black women? How many of you look at that because you're going to do a swipe to save the business. But are you looking at the narrative that can be told from the people that you're swiping?
So if they looked at your age, then they might have valued your experience and what you bring at that age.
Right.
As well as, right.
So
right.
It was a miss. Like somebody didn't do their due diligence.
Right.
Because I'm not saying you should keep me because I'm 49. What I'm saying is you should consider that I'm 49. You should consider that I have 20 years. You should consider that I'm a Latina X. You should consider that you sell your brand on DEI.
You know what I think about when you're with everything you're describing is life begins where you are. That's what's coming to me. You are so excited. It appears about life, and life begins where you are. You're 49 and you have all these plans and projects and you have so much going on. It really speaks to how much women have going on in their lives right now. And then there can be the opposite. You know, what they experience is the opposite of what their reality is. That's not necessarily what you're experiencing, but that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it's a bit of a split to put on that many hats because there's only 24 hours in a day and you're only awake for maybe 8 of them.
And that's true for you. I mean, you just listed all the things that you're involved in. You don't have just one profession. You're multi-professional.
Multi-professional. Yeah.
A womanpreneur.
Womanpreneur. Mompreneur. Womanpreneur. You're constantly like jumping from thought to thought, from idea to idea, to conversation to conversation.
We'll talk about the reality show that you're involved with.
Thank you, TVOne. Shout out to TVOne. So one of the things that I'm challenged with as a mompreneur, entrepreneur, womanpreneur, multi-professional,
yes.
multi-professional, is that I'm challenged with finding a mate. So I have been...
I recognize that.
You do? Oh.
I relate to that.
So I was propositioned to be on a dating show. This wasn't the first one. That's a whole nother, we got to do a whole nother show.
Yes.
And I said yes. I said yes to the opportunity. And it was a double date where your friend picked your date. So we went on 2 double blind dates.
So you picked a date for your friend and your friend picked a date for you.
Yes.
Was this over a series of episodes, experience?
We did 1 episode.
Okay.
We're episode 1.
Okay.
So go to TVOne. It's on demand. It's Aisha and Essence. And we were work besties. So we were chosen to be work besties to choose 2 dates for one another. And we both went on 2 blind dates and 2 double dates.
Did you know the person that you picked for her? I mean, how did you go about? Sorry, I just want to get down to the details.
So we had to pick them. We had to go on to a tablet. They gave us something to look at with criteria. And we had to, based on what we know about each other, we picked the guys.
I like the way you said that, with criteria.
With the criteria.
So you know.
Like the do's and the don'ts.
Right. And the features
I don't want to tell you
and the
too
non-features.
much because I want you to actually see it.
No, I'm going to watch it.
But so we did that. We did it. And it was, like I said, it was episode 1. We did not know. We were seeing them for the first time, both of us.
Okay.
The only time we saw them was on our iPads.
When did you all actually do these dates? How long ago was that?
October.
Oh, not long ago. Almost about 6 months. Mm-hmm. Okay. How was the guy?
So it was funny because they were both great looking guys to me.
Okay.
Right? I'm a chocolate guy, so I picked the chocolate guy by default. And it was fun.
Was the chocolate guy picked for you by your friend?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the 2 guys I went out with,
went on 2 dates.
We went, both of us.
Okay.
She went on 2, I went on 2, and then we went together.
Okay. So, over a series of days, but
we on the whole day. We were with these. We were together.
You were
all
tired.
Day. Yeah, it was a long.
Started in the early in the morning. Was it a Saturday or
no? It was a Thursday. it was a Thursday, and we started at like 12 o'clock, and we went to like midnight. Like it was long. It was long.
Wow. Okay, so
the guys were nice. I mean, I think she did a good job. She did the best she could based on what she found. So it was almost like she was looking at a dating app for me.
Yeah.
So it's not like she got a chance to meet them. She was choosing them from, profile.
Did you enjoy these dates?
I did. I really did. I'm glad. We did a Bury the Hatchet, which is right down here.
Okay.
And we did a Plant and Sip, where we made succulent plants and drank wine. It was so cute. Like,
oh my.
It was so cute.
And Bury the Hatchet, I'm not familiar with that. Are you throwing axes or what?
Axes. Yeah, throwing axes to get in the middle. I mean, it was fun.
To get in the middle?
To get in the middle of the...
Oh,
okay. That was
okay.
Weird.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's really close. I told myself I would go back because it was so nice. I didn't even know it was over there.
Yeah.
But Sandy Springs, we already talked about this. Like there's so many things going on here that you won't know.
No, right, exactly.
But yeah, it was so the 2 dates were fun. The guys were fun. They were cute. One of them had a really great personality. I didn't pick him, but I kind of wish I did.
You felt more drawn to the other guy.
I think it was because of the physicality.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for dark skinned guys.
Yeah.
The other guy was light skinned. And I was just like, meh.
Yeah.
But really and truly, he had never been married before and he didn't have any kids. And I didn't know why my girlfriend chose him because that's a deal breaker, sis.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't want to date anyone that's never been married and don't have children.
Mm-hmm. So, were they about your age or older?
No, he was a little bit younger than me.
Okay.
Not much.
Mm-hmm.
But the age didn't bother me much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he smelled good. He looked good. He had a great personality.
Yeah.
But he just didn't have the experience that I was looking for.
I got you.
I need somebody experienced.
You gotta ignore all of that. Okay. And then, so the guy that you did get with, you picked him to do the double date?
We went on double dates with both.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a chance to do double dates with both of them.
So when you end up picking one, is that the one that you guys are like, okay, we're going to continue on after this show, see what happens?
Yes.
Okay. And did that last a minute or what?
I need you to watch it.
I'm going to watch it.
The only reason why I can tell you is because it's spilled. The beans are spilled.
Okay.
Today, like I told you. Like they already put our update. So it's no secret.
Okay.
But I did. I cut him off like probably a month after.
When is your birthday? You kind of remind me of me.
February 1st.
Okay. Oh my God. You're an Aquarius. Yeah. That was my brother's birthday. Okay. Wow.
Are you a Pisces?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm a Taurus.
A Taurus.
I'm a Taurus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do have that spice. But yeah, so, I cut him off.
He did something you didn't like, or were you getting too close and you were feeling sort of like...
I didn't like he was talking about sex the whole date. And I was like, I'm not here to hook up, bro.
Yeah.
But we did end up getting back together for the party.
Wait, hold up. hold up. He was talking about sex on the first date after the show? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I wanted to understand when that happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
I feel you on that.
Yeah. And then, he wasn't as engaging as I wanted him to be in terms of like communication. So I just dropped it. But then when we had the viewing party, he showed up and we reconnected. And we went on like 2 days.
You have a nice smile on your face when you say that.
Because I thought it was cute. Like I gave him a chance and I thought it was cute to see us together dressed up and go on a real date with the cameras off.
Yeah.
I think the first date that we went on was kind of more of a, okay, let's talk to each other. Let's meet up right after. So it wasn't really fair because it was still in the midst of the show. I mean, it was like 2 or 3 days after the show, right?
Right.
But this year, like after the watch party, I think we had calmed down from the actual set.
Right.
And we were able to kind of relax a little bit.
Right.
So.
And then that didn't work out after you guys.
Still didn't work out. My standards are high, honey. They're up there with the Lord and they're not coming down. They're not coming down.
I feel you.
But he's really nice. He's cool. I think that, we can continue to just kind of hang out whenever.
Yeah. And so you had a comment. Can you share that? Don't share it if you don't want to. But, when you came in today, you just learned, I think maybe you got a text or something that you had a response to something.
So I didn't know they were going to post my update. so what I'm telling you, like, I wouldn't have told you that had they not shared the update already. So they put on the Instagram what I just told you.
What was it, a video that you made, or you?
Yeah, I could show it to you after your show.
Okay, all right.
So and I was like, darn, and I was like, they didn't even tell me, because me and Teddy, his name is Teddy, we're friends now. Like, we're cool. We text each other.
Yeah.
We follow each other on Instagram or whatever. So now he's going to see me saying something about
Oh, and you weren't able to warn him, give him a heads up.
Did I? I think I did. I'm going to have to call him today and give him another one. I'm like, look, they just put on there that I blocked you and that I was that you was talking about sex, boy. So just know, okay?
Right.
When you go on there, that's what you gonna see. But I'm gonna post our date.
Yeah, I think he probably knows you by now, and that you don't have bad intentions.
Yeah, like he knows me. But I just got to get with the TV station and say, look, we went out. Okay, take that down or switch it up.
You want to clarify or add to it
because they just did it wrong. So now I gotta.
Now, are they doing an update because are they going to air it again?
So
or?
May 18th, they are going to bring the show back. So I believe they paused it. So season 1 is going to air again.
Okay.
And they're going to start over again.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, thank you for all of that.
That was a lot. We went from how you feeling today to... So tell me about what it feels like in the workplace to Teddy.
Yes. And now we're going to go back to the Lord.
Okay, right. Because my standards are up there with the Lord.
Oh, my. Well, I wanted to ask you, Let's Start Healing, is a spiritually based show. And I love to talk to people about their connection to God and what God means to them. And how would you describe your knowing of God?
Oh, I love questions like this. How would I describe my knowing of God?
Mm-hmm.
The people that he brings to my life and the experiences that I have.
Yeah.
And the crap that I get out of.
Good crap.
Only God.
Good crap.
Lessons. Bad crap. It doesn't matter. I mean, I just see him in everything that I experience. I see him in everything that I get. I see him in everything that I don't get. And this spiritual journey has been long for me. Like I said, I'm Latina, so I grew up Catholic. And then when I got older, I went to...
Where'd you grow up?
In Brooklyn, New York. Mm-hmm. I think around 18, 19, I went to a non-denominational church in Brooklyn. Pastor Bernard, he's amazing. A big church in Brooklyn. And then when I moved here, I transitioned to, I guess, Baptist. I don't know. Like Eddie Long's church out there. Yeah. Then I went to Word of Faith with Bronner. Like I go to big churches. Yeah. I was going to big churches. And like maybe 6 years ago, I did away with structured religion because I had these experiences that had nothing to do with church.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh. There were different things. People were coming into my life, different experiences. And I was like, And I started reading. I felt like my connection to him was getting closer and there was nothing in the middle. It was just me and him.
Yeah. And
once that happened, I saw him in everything. It was like, oh. So yeah. So now I'm an omniist.
And I haven't heard that word before. I like it. Omniist?
Yes.
Ooh.
So omniist is someone
omnipresence. Does it come from that, I wonder?
Probably. It's probably derived. So basically it's the person that respects and believes a little bit of all faiths. Yeah. Like I'm not fixed to one.
Yeah.
So if I go to India, I'm Hindu. With you. If you're my friend and you're Muslim, well, we're going to the mosque. Like I don't have this thing where I'm in a box.
Exactly.
God is, I think everybody has something to offer. Yeah. So I like that part.
I love that. I grew up Catholic too.
Okay. So
and I do know, but I believe that the truth of every faith is love. It's all the same. Like the truth of every faith is no different from one another to me.
Right. That
essence.
Part.
Yeah.
which is the same as the omniist, because when you look at all the different faiths, when you strip it up and you move all the structure and the rules, it's love.
Yep.
It's love and it's God. There's nothing else. You can call it this. You can call
That's
it
what
that.
I say. God is love and that's it.
it's moral, it's value, it's giving. We came here for giving love, and we came for getting love. That's forgive and forget.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one.
Right. What do you think that God calls you to do in life through the work that you do? What do you think God is calling you to do for you and for other people?
Girl, that's the whole point of me being here. I don't know. That's my journey. Like every morning I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do? I think is to use my experiences to help people heal so they don't think they're alone.
Yes.
I
swear to God, that's why I keep thinking that. Are you a Taurus? Because that's essentially what this is about. This podcast is about. So go ahead.
I love it. That's why when you told me, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going. Say less. Like you didn't have to sell me or anything. I was looking, I was like, look at that.
So that they're not alone, to share your experiences, help them to relate. And
it's so funny. I went on a whole rant on my Instagram yesterday or the day before. And I know I shouldn't do that, but I did. I said, I love the fact that the Bible has these stories of these experiences that humans had with God. And that's what it is. No matter how you try to say it, they experienced him and they wrote it down and they're telling us what happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's no different from what's happening with us, right?
Yes. It's so true.
If I had my chapter called Aisha, verse 1, 6, 7, 8, 4, 5, it's going to say she was 16 and she gave birth to a child and she didn't know that she was, and then God came in and showed her love because she met this man, my Joseph, right, that came in and took care of my daughter.
Right. That's why there's other gospels and
Right. So it's a thing, for me to say, I want to share my experience with you so that you can say, gosh, that happened to me too. And how did you survive it? And I can say, God, I can say, well, this is what happened. I met this person and I met this person and God gave me this person. And then I fell down and on my face and I had to get up and I did this. And then, and then they're going, okay. I get that. I feel that. And I'm not going to be afraid to tell you.
Right.
That happened.
Right.
And it sucks.
But you got through it and you knew that you weren't alone. And, God was with you. Do you ever have experiences where you feel like you're having a conversation with God and you're having an exchange?
Yeah.
Literally.
Yes. And usually in times when I'm still, more so than anything. It took me a while to recognize my ego versus the whisper. It took a long time. Like, who's saying that? And then I realized that when I'm still, I'm big on nature. Like when I go ground, if I go to the river up here and I watch the water and I just zip it, I can literally have a back and forth with him. Yeah, because I can hear.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Even sometimes when I'm not feeling my best, now as I'm now in my maturation of my spirituality, before I couldn't hear anything because, you're just a stubborn kid just screaming at the top of your lungs. But now as an adult, I'm like, then I can hear him talk.
Yeah.
And I'll go, well, why did you make that happen? And then they'll go, well, I wanted you to see this. Like, the conversation is so, I don't want to use the word, it feels like I'm talking to someone, but it's a very low whisper. That's why you have to stay so quiet.
Mm-hmm. I had this, and I've shared this before. I had this experience being in the Georgia mountains. You ever go up to like LJ?
Helen.
Helen. And I've been up there many times. And this one particular time, I was at a friend's house. She was having like a girlfriend's weekend, and I went up there. Actually, it was an Easter Sunday. I think must have been 2019 because it was before the pandemic. And when I got up there, there was already maybe 10, 15 women there. And, you had the doors open to the back porch and all of that. And I was like, what is going on? What is it about this atmosphere right now? And what I realized was it was quiet. The stillness was just reverberating. It was crazy. And I actually felt that again, like Christmas of 2020, I think. I fell asleep like late that night on the floor. I was just, just laying on the floor watching TV or whatever. I fell asleep. So I woke up. I had to take the dog out. It was like 5:00 in the morning, and it was so still.
Like pandemic still?
Yeah. No.
It was still.
But it wasn't that.
That was so weird.
It reminded me of the mountain part.
Okay.
That's funny what you just said. But it was so still that after I brought the dog in, I went back outside. And I just felt like I needed to be out there. Like it was just like that stillness I feel is in us. Like that's God to me, which you just described. Mm-hmm. That's God, and that's inside of us. Mm-hmm. And we cover it up with so much stuff, so much life, the stuff we deal with. And it's when we meditate or the things that you just described, you're by the river, when we can get really still and connect again. But we forget that is actually inside of us.
Which is why I love yoga now. Yoga's like my new thing. I'm like, who would have thought? Just breathing and stretching. I'm like, what? This feels great. It's like because you're right. It is inside of us. And we have to activate it. Yeah. We have to activate it intentionally because we're in a time where
I love that. We do have to activate it. Yeah.
we got everything. We're overstimulated.
Exactly.
With technology.
Right.
With our jobs, with our dogs. Like, no, you know what? Let's take it off because I love my emotionally support dogs.
Yes.
But
I was trying to think of that phrase yesterday. Thank you. I was like, what's the word? Because that's what you are. And I couldn't think of what it was.
Yeah, like they're the best.
He's my emotional support.
Animals were put here for us. Like I don't even, and that's another must have. Like if you don't love dogs, don't even talk to me. I don't want to hear like, they're okay. No, they can't be okay. Okay,
you have to be a person.
You have to like absolutely just love. Like matching pajamas love.
Yes,
okay?
They can be on the bed.
They can be on the bed kind of love.
I can kiss them,
right?
Because I kiss my dog.
Me too. We love. It's ridiculous. It's so bad in my house. It's like he's probably like, Lord, what family am I
real?
In? So. But that stillness is, you're right, it is within.
Yeah,
we do have to be intentional.
Yeah. Okay, so one more question before we get to how people can get in touch with you.
Okay.
And that is there a miracle or blessing that you've experienced that you can share, you're willing to share, that you said, this was all God, I had nothing to do with this?
Wow. So many. I have so many to choose from. I'm going to use my recent experience. I think being laid off was definitely all God. I think he said, it's time for you to fly. It's time for you to go.
Wow. And when did you realize, hey, this is a good thing? This was a blessing.
It's an everyday realization. Because I'm going to be honest with you, from a human experience, the first, it was like, like I was numb, like, damn it, I had to start all over again. But I think every day and every opportunity that's opened up and every conversation that I'm having that's leading me is a confirmation. Like it's not a one-time thing. It's a
continuous thing.
I told you. I told you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's days where I'm like, well, I just want to have a job for 10 years like everyone else and just go on vacation and retire, But he's like, no, ma'am.
Well, we want to know that, at least for me, let me speak for myself, that income, I've freelanced for 12 years and I love that autonomy. But the worry, sometimes I would worry so much, well, when is the check going to come in? When is the check going to come in? And the check always came. Right. And I would realize, well, so I was worrying really for nothing because it was coming. So I expended all that energy.
For nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. But we want that. I want that.
Yeah. Cause it's because we as humans were conditioned to believe that, it's not real until we see it. And a check every 2 weeks is real. Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
Keep it a buck. And then when you step outside of that, like, I'm going to be honest, like everything that I'm telling you has not monetized. I'm literally just doing something that feels good.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
That's what we should do. That's the way.
I'm going to do it because it feels good and he's going to take care of the rest.
That is the way.
I talked to a social media brand manager to help me So I'm like, okay, listen.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I'll send you some quotes. She's like, what's your budget? I said, ma'am, I just got laid off.
Right.
I don't have a budget.
Yeah.
God told me to not watch my bank account, to watch my, to just stay focused on my faith. That's what he said. So you just send me the quotes and we going to figure it out.
Right.
And she laughed so hard. She said, you know what, you're telling the truth. I said, because if you send it to me and I get worried, I'm going to get scared and I'm not going to do what I'm supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Just send it. And then at least I'm being transparent with you. I can't tell you, oh, I have a $20,000 budget. No, ma'am. Just send it. Let's talk about it.
Right. Right. No, that's real. That's real. And that's the truth. That's very inspiring. To me, that is the way we should be. Mm-hmm. That is the way that I try to be, and I don't always succeed, but that is the way. That's how I try to live my life.
Especially in this space. I mean, I can totally respect you and what you're doing, and because we're doing the same thing. Like, we have jobs because we need the lights on.
Right.
I mean, we have to be practical about this. And then, we turn on our mics and we have these inspiring conversations, and each conversation takes you to a different place. Like my motto for my last podcast was healing people one conversation at a time. So for me, it's if I just touch one person, then I did what he told me to do today.
I said exactly this on a podcast. Like, I just did a monologue for my next episode, and I said exactly that.
See, look, great mind.
Yes.
That's where we're in tune.
Yeah, that's exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah, and
because
that's what's more important.
That's what it's about. It's about, who we connect with. And if one person can understand that they're not alone and God is love and only love.
That's what we got. And that's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
That's really a lot. When it comes to that, I really try to lean in on him and what he said to do. That's it. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to get my panties in a bunch when I see a whole bunch of zeros, because it doesn't matter. We're counting to 10 over and over and over again, right?
Yep.
So the person that is, let's say, further along in their podcast world, and they've monetized it and they're making millions, they don't feel any different than you and I that are just here, just doing it out of love. Like, the feeling is still the same.
Right.
So that's all we need.
Right.
Like, we let him take care of everything else.
Yeah. You have to love this to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. And I will hope that having these organic grassroots conversations with like-minded spiritual women like yourself will keep us grounded, so that when we do get to that big podcast world up there with the bigger, that we're still these same people,
exactly.
Like, in our hearts. Like, it doesn't even matter that we're going on a jet tomorrow. It doesn't matter.
A private jet.
Right. It doesn't matter that we're on the G4 headed to France, because we're still...
Right, exactly.
Adrienne and Aisha. Like, this is what it is. Remember that time we had that first conversation?
Right.
Yeah, girl. And that's what it is. And that's how I want it to stay.
Well, people can still listen to your past episodes, right?
Well, I don't think so. I'm so dramatic. Like, I literally deleted everything.
Why did you do that?
Because I'm a weirdo.
Oh my gosh.
I'm such a weirdo.
Well, do you still...
I have some copies, though. I probably will start uploading
You should do that. Yeah. For sure. I'm glad you still have the content.
I hope so.
Oh my gosh. Why did you delete them? I really would like to know.
Because I'm a weirdo. I'm going to go find them. I'm going to go find some of them, because I know I have some somewhere.
I don't understand. I'm still trying to get to why you would do that, because
because I'm a drama queen.
Do you have a temper?
Not anymore. Not anymore. I told you I was in therapy.
I'm like, did you do that out of anger and you were venting? And oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, okay. Anger management is a thing.
Yes, it is a thing, girl. It is a thing. Now you know why I'm in therapy. But I'm sure I have some clips, and I'm going to start uploading them so I can give you all of my handles. You can see all of my stuff.
Well, so tell us right now, though, if somebody wants to reach you, how can they get in touch and find you on social media?
Yes. I have so many platforms.
Wait a minute. Right now we're talking Instagram, right?
I have 2.
Okay. All right.
My IG handle for all things Aisha is alchem.Isha TV. So that's ALCHEM.ISHA TV. for all things podcast is going to be according.2.Aisha.
Okay. Got it.
Right. And then if you want to see my goofiness, you can go to TikTok.
Okay.
You can find me on TikTok.
Okay.
At according to Aisha 74.
Wonderful. And how long have you been on TikTok?
Ooh, like I think right before the pandemic, but I started getting real serious lately. I'm almost at 7,000 followers.
Get out.
Yeah.
You are inspiring.
Yeah.
And so, okay, I'm going to go see you and
Go
see if you
see
can be
me.
a model for me. And, you know,
go see. I want you to go
I need
see.
some lessons on that.
It's funny. I'm funny. I'm goofy. I'm silly. And I'm probably too honest. That's why my family's like, oh gosh, here she goes.
Oh my gosh. Well, you are a real inspiration. I say that sincerely.
Thank you.
And we just met, and real inspiration.
Thank you. And so are you.
Thank
I mean,
you.
seriously, this is you gave me, you like, oh wow. I'm like, I remember that. Like, I can't wait. Well, thank you for having me on the show. I hope you
so
have me
much.
again, because I'm sure there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff.
I would love for you to come back often.
Okay. Good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. Remember, you can listen to Let's Start Healing on traditional platforms. Please share Let's Start Healing with at least one person who you think the podcast would resonate with. Remember to subscribe. And until next time, let's start healing.